Guys, welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered and Functional, where I, your host, Mandy, am joined by the wonderful Sashi Baby.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course, always, it is a pleasure to have you. And well, this episode is dropping as the first episode of May. So
Ooh,
happy May, everyone. With that being said, I'm doing a little personal I don't know what to call this. A little personal growth,
challenge,
yeah,
development.
challenge, re-up, because it's something I've done before, but I feel like I've fallen out of practice. I want to bring it back. I talked to my clients about it. So we're gonna do like this little May mini challenge if y'all wanna follow along. And that's around manifesting. Sasha, when you hear the word manifesting, do you or have you ever thought of it as being kind of like a woo-woo?
Yeah, and I would be lying if I said that I don't sometimes think of it that way, depending on the context that it's in. Do I believe that I've manifested everything that I have? Yes, because I put my mind into it. That's where my focus went. That's the direction that I was moving in. Do I at the same time really dislike when people are like, I'm manifesting this, that, and the third, and then they just like sit on their asses and wait for it to come true because they put it into the universe and now they're waiting for it to just happen to them, but they're not doing anything? Yes. So that's kind of where I'm like, it's really about the context. Like manifestation in itself, I do believe is very powerful. And it is an incredible way to prime your brain and like put yourself into that headspace, put like visualize those things. And hey, I have a vision board. I've been doing vision boards for this is my third year, second year with a physical one, but third year actually making vision boards. And I think that putting those thoughts, manifesting, visualizing, which I know you're going to cover some of the science behind it. And like, I'm just so excited for this conversation, but I do find it to be very powerful if it's used with action-based tools, not when it's just like, I'm going to manifest myself this, that, and the third, and just like, okay, I'm ready for it to just drop here. Like, it doesn't happen like that.
Yeah. No, I think you made a really good point because there is a total difference between manifesting and then actually doing something about it versus, envisioning it as like a passive kind of
Mm.
exercise, which I mean, it can be, but then, like you said, good luck. You're gonna be waiting around for a while, and like, it's up to it's God and the universe's chances if that even gets dropped in your lap, because we do have to do some work with
Yeah,
manifesting. So there is some action involved. But before we start our conversation, I gotta drop the science. If there
I
is
love it. I love it. All right, Mrs. Andrew Huberman, Mrs. Mandy almost Huberman.
almost,
Like, you're like the
yeah.
female fun version of Huberman.
Yeah, I like to be a little less dry. That man is so smart. I'm not gonna knock him at all, but it would be nice to know that he's a man and not a robot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. His sense of humor sometimes like he'll make a joke and he like laughs and I'm like, I didn't understand that. But anyway, I digress.
Okay. So for anyone listening that does think of manifestation as woo-woo, or if I've also heard this perspective as well, if you are someone that comes from a very religious background and you hear the word manifesting or manifestation and it gives you like blasphemy or like witchy vibes and it doesn't sit well with you, let me tell you this, it doesn't really matter. Manifestation is for everyone, regardless of your religious beliefs, your personal beliefs, your core values. We can all do it. Some people call it praying, some people call it journaling or affirmations. But at the end of the day, it's kind of the same thing at the core. The science for those people that are like, no, 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 it's weird, it's witchy, it's woo woo. We all in our brains have an area in the back called the reticular activating system. Not a cute name, but like whatever, the scientists were in charge of it. We can't do anything about it now. So, this area of the brain literally filters out all the data that comes at us. And, it's not just data of I'm looking in my office and I see my wall is painted green. And then in my peripherals, like the window is here. This is all data, the colors, what's around me. There's also data like, do I smell anything? I have a candle burning. Do I hear anything? Literally, we are thrown trillions of pieces of data at us every single day. And if our brain allowed us to recognize all of that data, we would literally go insane. We'd get so overwhelmed with that input. So, what this little area of the brain, its job is to weed out all of the data and only have you focus on what's important. This is where I think some people get stuck. And this is where some people might fall into a victim mindset. We've said before on the show, or we've said over the years, like where focus goes, energy flows. So if you're somebody that is constantly focusing on what is going wrong in your life and looking for evidence of that storyline to support it, yeah, it's only going to be bad things that you see or that you're aware of because that's what you train your reticular activating system to look for.
Yeah.
Which, listen, I've fallen victim to that myself. I think we all have. It's like a rite of passage. But even though that sucks, and we all know how shitty it is to sit there and like be your own worst enemy in your brain and be like, nothing good happens to me. And if only I could lose the weight, or if only I got a pay raise, my job sucks, my boyfriend smells. I don't know. Have you ever dated a smelly guy? Because I did once.
No.
I did one time and it did not last. And I was like, I did not manifest this. I digress though. The good news at the end of the day is whatever you think about that has led you to think about and only focus on these negative things that your brain will only filter data through to support your negative beliefs, we can reverse it. And this is the science of manifestation. As soon as we start telling ourselves a different story, and you don't have to like get absurdly delulu and be like, I am the richest woman in the entire world. Like, if you want to go that route, like, girl, pop off. But for most people, we got to start a little smaller and think in terms of, instead of being nothing good ever happens to me, start thinking, wow, I have a lot of blessings in my life.
Yeah.
I have a lot of opportunities in my life, and that could be financial, and that could lead to you to become the richest woman in the entire world, etc. But it's just a small shift like that. But you need to keep repeating it to yourself, whether
Yeah.
it's a thought, whether you write it down, whether you tell other people. That's so powerful because
I agree.
now if I look at Sasha and say, Sasha, I'm gonna win my IFBB Bikini Pro card, like, oh shit, now I told someone. Now I have to
Yeah.
go do that because if I don't do that, my integrity as a person who I believe myself to be is at stake.
Now I
And
look like a wimp.
yeah, and our egos don't fucking like that. They don't like
Yeah.
that. So that's the science behind it. And if anyone is interested in joining this, oh, excuse me, in joining this manifestation May challenge that I'm going to be hosting for my clients, let me know in the comments. I'll send you over a super cutesy little PDF outline of the challenge I've made, including some affirmation examples and actionable steps that you can take to make your narrative your own and to help you manifest better. Leave a comment. I'll send that over to you guys. Otherwise, I want to open this up to Sasha because we have both used manifestation in the past. And I'm so proud of Sasha. I'm going to let her share whatever she's comfortable sharing. But Sasha has been manifesting like a mother trucker this year, and it is
Yeah.
only April.
Yeah.
Tell me about
Oh
it,
my God.
girl.
Well, first of all, I love the science that backs everything up. Like that part of the brain that you're talking about, the RAC,
RAS.
RAS, close. Um, I actually think it's so incredible when you think about it in those science terms, because if you are a religious person or you are someone who has heard the word manifestation in a very woo-woo sense, which I have before, hence why like there is a little bit of that towards it because I've heard it just used so easily and nothing to back it up that I'm like, it doesn't work if this is how you're doing it. Like, so there's that. just understanding that science behind it and just the way that your brain actually works when it comes to that, if that doesn't convince you to take those steps, you could remove that label from it. You can remove the word manifestation if you don't like it. You can use it. You can put visualization. You can put taking steps towards a better you. You can put changing your life. But like it really is true. Like what you look at and what you pay attention to is what your life ends up being. And all of us have something going on in our lives that we don't love, that is negative, that doesn't feel good, that is hard, that is just like we would want it to be better. And where we can improve, please. But where maybe certain things are not in our control, focusing on that and like giving that your energy is taking away from everything else that you could be doing. And I think
Mhm.
that that's one of the biggest things that I've done and have been really pouring myself into is what I cannot control and what I cannot change and whatever is like weighing me down, but I physically cannot make a difference there as of right now, at least. I cannot focus on that because it takes away from everything great, and I've seen that happen in real time. And like I would be lying if I said that I don't fall victim, and I don't even like using that word, but like I do fall into that sometimes still. Like literally you and I were talking earlier where I was like I was having a little bit of a moment yesterday where I was just a little bit upset, and having that moment yesterday, it's like today I almost didn't film the content that I was planning on filming. I almost didn't pick up the phone to do my talking head videos. When I texted you and I was like, hey, are we still on for today? If you said no, I would have been like, all right, that sucks, but I'm also like in a little bit of a rut right now. So like the fact that you said yes, I was like, oh shit, like I have someone holding me accountable right now to show up, to not be in it. So like that is just me saying that even as you are taking these next steps, doing the things, manifesting, working towards them, like you said, you have to actively be doing so because life will continue lifing in good ways and in bad ways. And we just need to keep putting our best foot forward, doing the practices that you have thrown in that PDF, which is incredible. So, like, if anyone wants to truly start making any changes in their lives, it really does start with your mind, with what you tell yourself, with the stories that we tell ourselves. And I think everyone and anyone can benefit out of what you created. So, thank you for creating that. That was awesome. I got a little glimpse of it and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to join it myself. But um, to answer your question on things that, I've been doing this year and like manifestations, I guess, that have been coming to life, I made a vision board in the beginning. Well, not even in the beginning, on literally December 31st at like 11 p.m. I was finishing this vision board because I was like, I'm gonna have it done before midnight because then otherwise it doesn't matter. That's my all or nothing creeping in over here. But besides the point, one of the things that I put in there besides growing sculpt coaching, which I am so proud of, and I'm growing it, and I'm attracting my dream clients, and I'm working with incredible women, and I'm posing clients, which is something that I would have never expected to be doing, and I absolutely love it. One of the kind of like side quest things that I put on there was brand collaborations and collaborating with some of my dream companies. And as like an athlete, as a gym goer, as a coach, I walk the walk. So the supplements that I take, the gym clothes that I wear, like this is what I tell my friends, this is what I tell my clients, this is what I tell my people. Like I'm just like a natural advertisement for everything that I consume because if I love it, I use it. And I've been just on top of my content game, and it's been really cool to see that companies that I have just like always like for me, I didn't even put those specific names on my vision board because it felt like too hot, like too far for me.
Mhm.
And I didn't get like super specific with the company names. Like I'd love to work with Define and I'd love to work with Young LA. And there were like some smaller supplement companies that I was like, ooh, that would be really cool. But I almost went above that. Like I did go
Mhm.
above that. And
Oh
I
yeah,
started
you did.
like
You
I feel
totally
like
did.
I think Bombshell is above all the others, and like to be working with Paragon, like I've known of that company, and I didn't even like consider it because I was so stuck on like, oh well, she's working with Define, so I want to work with Define. And the second that I was like, okay, No, I just want like brand collaborations with companies that like align with me, with companies that feel good to me, with companies that I can represent and feel good with. Like I started working with Evagen over the last month. I started working with Paragon. I've been working with Hummus Fit since late of last year. And just like seeing like I don't want it to seem like, oh, she's so happy about these brand collaborations, but like this is something that 3 years ago I would have been actually like shitting bricks to know that I'm having conversations with these companies and working with these companies. And it's just been a really cool experience because I put it on my vision board and I didn't just put it on my vision board and then I like sat down and was like, okay, I'm waiting for them to reach out to me. I've been busting my ass with social media. Like if you follow me
Hmm.
on Instagram and on TikTok, I post sometimes up to 5 to 6 times a day on Instagram. And I'm not saying that you have to do that in order to grow, but like I've just been pouring all of myself and putting out myself out, no matter how silly I look on social media. Like, and that got me visibility with these companies where they're like, oh, I like how she literally the shoe fairy reached out to me and they were like, we saw one of your talking videos. We love how you speak on camera. Can we send you a pair of heels? Are
Hmm.
you kidding me? I've been wearing their heels for 2 years now. Yes, please. I love you. I was gonna buy those heels anyways. Thank you. So like that's just been one example of how I put that on my vision board. I started just busting my ass because how do you get the brand collaborations? Well, you put yourself out there for brands to see you. And then when they see you, you keep putting yourself out there using their products. And then when you use their products, things go further. And the same exact thing with my coaching. It's like I put on my vision board like a certain income because let's not lie, all of us have a certain amount of money that we want to be making a month. So I put a certain income on my vision board. And even though I didn't say specifically, like, oh, I want this specifically to come just from my one-on-one coaching, I started getting posing clients. I started getting more in-person clients, more one-on-one online clients, more inquiries, just starting up conversations. And that happened by posting my content, by putting myself out there. So all of that just goes to say, like, every single part of my vision board that is on my vision board, none of it would be happening had I not been taking the steps towards it and like actively putting myself in the headspace where I don't feel like showing up for social media one day. It doesn't really matter how you feel here. Like you
Hmm.
have a goal, you're working towards that goal. I don't feel like doing my workout today. That doesn't really matter because it might not be on this year's vision board, but next year's vision board is an IFBB Pro card. So like it doesn't really matter that right now I'm not competing. I have to show up to the gym. I not even I have to, I get to show up to the gym because then I get to reap the reward of reaching the goal on my vision board and then taking it to the next level after that. So that's an example of where we've been at.
No, I love it. I love all of it. Thank you so much for sharing it. Wouldn't it be so cool if we both got our cards next year? Because I have to
Oh my God, that would
qualify.
be
Yeah.
I'm manifesting it. I'm
We're
manifesting it.
manifesting it. Yes, girl.
I mean, we're
It is.
doing all of the things for
Hmm.
it. And that's the thing, like about something like manifesting, because let's say we're both busting our asses this year, right? You with prepping, me with cutting for like bridal prep, and then we do reverses and then we cut. And let's say we don't get our pro cards next year, but we are one placing away from it.
Oh, we're not stopping. We don't
One, we're
stop.
not stopping. Two, that doesn't mean that we didn't reach our goal. We are
Hmm.
actively taking steps to it. So that's another thing. Like you could be visualizing and manifesting things and feel yourself getting right there, but not hit it the way
Hmm.
that you want to or the way that you thought that you would be reaching that goal. But that doesn't mean that you're falling short. Like I said, example for the pro card, like, and if we don't get it next year, we keep pushing until we do get it. And then when we do get it, we set the next goal. And like we enjoy the fact that we got it, but like we keep progressing. And the same thing with those brand collaborations. Like, had I looked at the fact that, oh, well, Define hasn't reached out to me and Young LA hasn't reached out to me, but I guess Bombshell did. Like, what?
Yeah. No.
It's like I wouldn't even have considered Bombshell because that felt like so much more above me when it's not because
No.
they did reach out and I am going to be working with them. So it's like just because you set one specific goal, but something else is either A, coming out of it, B, you get like a little detour from it and reach it in a different way, you're still actively working towards it, which means you're still better than where you started.
Absolutely. And that's like a good point to also make here and share with everyone is you can have these goals and set these manifestations and start putting it into practice and, doing the affirmations, looking for letting your reticular activating system look for the proof that this is going to come true. And it it could be like Sasha. It comes true in 4 months. It could be even shorter. It could come true in a couple weeks, or it might take years.
Cheers.
And
Yeah.
I mean, neither one of us is perfect, and we've fallen off of the manifestation wagon at some point or time. But the important part of it is you get back on,
Yeah.
because I know I feel way more fulfilled living in a more like optimistic headspace than before, when I used to tell myself that I was like a fat piece of shit that didn't have any worth and like was never going to be happy or have a dream relationship or have like the dream dog that I wanted and any of that thing, because that's how I used to talk to myself. So I would constantly only look for proof that reinforced that negative story.
Yeah.
And the other thing I want to point out is you like, and it must feel so good. And I'm literally, I'm like shitting bricks. I'm so happy for you
Stop,
hearing
I love
about all
you.
of your brand collabs, because I know how many, this is not just a Sasha made up this goal in December. Like you've been talking about this for years. And I
Yeah,
think,
like literally since I
yeah.
started working out, it was like my first gym sets were Navigation and Gymshark. And I have a picture of me standing in the mirror that I posted on Snapchat in 2020, in 2020 or even
Mhm.
2021, where I literally wrote, waiting for that Gymshark sponsorship now. And it was the
Mhm.
first time I ever put on a Gymshark outfit before I even like really started working out. And I literally have written, Gymshark can sponsor me now, or like waiting for that sponsorship now. And granted, never say never, but like that is just some
That
like from the moment that I started, I was like, wow,
you wanted it.
I want that. And I feel
Yeah.
like I have what it takes in my personality, in how I put myself out there. It's just a matter of putting yourself out there. And
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you off in any way, but when you just said like it could take different times. It could take 4 months, but it can also take 4 years. Last year, on my 2025 vision board, I literally had a picture of my coach when she got an overall win, and I had a cutout of an IFBB Pro card. Neither of those happened last year.
Hmm.
And there was a feeling of disappointment, but there was also more so a feeling of excitement because now I get to not roll that goal over, but I get to keep pursuing that goal.
Hmm.
And then there were other goals on that, and not necessarily goals, but like things that I wanted to happen or like things that I wanted to be my life. Like, there was a picture of like me and my family to like show like a strong relationship between my family and like the complete opposite of that happened. And that is something that I had to be like, whoa, okay, when I made this, was I looking out for myself? Was I really in alignment? Was I thinking realistically about all of these things, or was I just like being like a hopeful, not really taking everything into consideration? And like that was my problem with the IFBB Pro card, is I've been chasing that bad boy since I won my first ever show, and it's like, girl, you have no muscle, like not enough muscle to be anywhere close to that. So that just goes to say, like, had I been in that negative victim kind of headspace, I would have been like, all right, I didn't get my pro card last year. I guess I'm quitting bodybuilding. What?
Hmm.
No. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how it works. This is supposed to, if anything, light more of a fire up under your ass and now give you more of an opportunity to keep chasing that goal, to keep going after it. And it's going to make it that much more rewarding, because had I gotten my pro card last year, I don't think it would have been that rewarding.
Hmm.
It wouldn't have felt that rewarding because it would have been like, oh, okay, cool. I did 3 shows and I got my pro card. Awesome. No, girl. There are people who are going after this pro card for 5 freaking years until they actually get it, 10 years until they get it. So it's when you put something like that, like on your board that you know is supposed to take time. I really like the saying, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And the when is truly up to you and how hard you're willing to work for it.
Hmm. Yeah.
I also had a Frenchie up on that vision board, and it was a completely different Frenchie than how Remy looks, like completely different color pattern. Am I upset that Remy isn't a black, white, and gray Frenchie? Absolutely not. Like when I look at him, I'm like, whoa, I prefer you. Like, so that's just another example of like things on your vision board might actually be like a good point, like
Hmm.
a check mark, but not necessarily get you to your
Yeah.
goal just because it's on there.
Yeah. No, that's a really good point. And to what I wanted to say was that I don't want to say you got lucky because you did the work with your content and it shows. It definitely shows. But I think, got that added bonus of these brands reached out to you. And what I want to really hit home for other people are you are not the passenger in your life. You are the driver of your life. So Sasha may have she done did the work. She did
He
the
done did
work.
it. Where are you
Um
from?
who knows? Depends on the day of the week. But you did the work that got you that recognition for them to reach out to you. But that's not to say that we can't be the drivers in our own lives. We can reach out to brands if that's on
Oh,
your
I
vision
did.
board. So there you go. I
Oh,
just
I
want
did.
people to understand like it's not that you want it to happen and then Sasha did her social media and then she just sits back and wait. Like she reached out to people, but at the end of the day, and here's maybe if you want to be a little religious or if you do want to be woo woo, because trust me, I'm probably more on like the witchy end of things. But
My witch.
yeah, a little bit. Look, I got tarot cards over here, I got crystals everywhere, but I think what happens is like using Sasha as an example, she set these goals, she did the work, and she got something that was way better than she bargained for. It didn't look like what she thought it was going to look like, but it
Yeah,
ended up being for her, which is like, what's for you will find you, but you do have to put that energy out to attract it first. So
I agree.
I cannot say it enough that I am like so excited for you. And I'm really excited to start Manifestation May. And again, everyone that wants to join, please do and understand like we're burying little seeds. We're going to start manifesting things now. They might come to fruition in a week, in an hour. It might be 3 years. Who knows? But the whole point is to get started together. So
Yeah, I love it.
Sash, thank you for joining me today on
Yeah,
this.
thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited for May. Everybody, if you do want to join, comment below. I will send you the workbook. Otherwise, please like if you're listening to this on YouTube, rate it 5 stars on Spotify because even though everyone does say it, it really truly does help us creators so much to continue to do what we love to do. And we'll be linked in the show notes for our Instagrams and our link trees if you want to connect more with us. And then check out Sculpt Session Sundays for Sasha's podcast. And we will
Yeah.
catch you guys next Monday.